9 years, I have been kind of deep diving into the influencer marketing and the power of influence.
And you have a book coming up regarding the topic. We'll touch upon that as well. I don't know. I think we've had maybe some technical issue now. Now we're back on line. So this is the Event Success Insight podcast. Inna-Pirjetta Lahti with me from Pink Helsinki. We talk about the power of influence. So if you listen to the previous podcast, you know, the concept of this show is that the previous guest will ask a question to the guest coming up. So I have a question to you from Jonas Olsson, who was my guest last week. So Jonas said that you have been both finalists on Evento Awards, and he has this question for you. How did the pandemic impact influencer marketing? In Jonas's opinion, he thinks that perhaps it has become more affordable in an online setting, in online events, to use influencers and influencer marketing. Is that the case, or is it not? According to your experience, you know better. And the second question from Jonas to you is, how could we better utilize influencer marketing on a B2B events, so in a B2B setting and B2B events? So if we start with the pandemic, what impact the pandemic had on influencer marketing?
I believe that the biggest impact during the pandemic and now also what we can see during the crisis in Ukraine is that the influencers that have large audiences, they have finally understood their power. So they really got the message that they can help spreading the right information, and also they can cut the wings from the disinformation. And they can really help by not only by taking kind of like sides, but by sharing information and directing their followers to the right information sources.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's maybe the biggest change what we have seen, not only in Finland, but also internationally. And in Finland, of course, we have been kind of forerunners because we had this big governmental project where over 2,000 social media influencers joined the forces 2 years ago to share the reliable information about corona situation and all the restrictions that we had here. And this project was recognized all over the world, and our prime minister got lots of publicity, not only through that but also through the other like forerunner projects that Finland has been creating together with social media influencers. Then, of course, from the business point of view, the influencer marketing, I think it has got a boost, like the all business in web, because since everything was closed and we stayed at home, more and more the communications and also the business was done virtually. And of course, that was also an opportunity for the companies, but also for many influencers.
And how about then in the B2B, business to business settings, the role of the influencer marketing there, that perhaps in Jonas' opinion it's a bit underutilized?
I think that the biggest thing is to think your event before, during, and after in social media. And then when you think who are coming to your event, you should think who are the influencers. Like they might be your partners, they might be your guests, they might be your own personality, but also above all, also the speakers coming to your event. And that's also something I have been speaking many times also, for example, with my speaker, that how the speakers who are joining one event as keynote speaker or panelist, how they could leverage the information before the event, during the event, and after the event, and that way how the entire event can virtually reach much bigger audiences with their messages than only for those who are actually attending the event.
And you mentioned about the power of influence and the impact, not just in terms of likes and shares support and engagement and look at this great event that I'm attending and I'm an influencer, but having really an impact on society, and perhaps in, as you mentioned, about the citizen journalism and disseminating the correct information or directing the public to the right sources, the credible sources. So tell me a little bit about your upcoming book, that when it will be published, next week?
Next week, yes.
So next week, it has a Finnish name, Muuta maailmaa somessa. So what would be the do you have any plans to translate it in English?
Yeah, of course we have the plan, but not like exact plan yet. So first go now live with the Finnish version, and I would say that the English name is The Power of Influence. Of course, we are talking about social impact influencing, which means that we are concentrating to the influencing in social media. So in Finnish, we have also like a undername or under topic, and it's like how you say it in English, like Good Makers handbook for change makers.
Goodwill or
Goodwill, yeah,
Okay.
some kind of like hyväntekijän käsikirja.
Goodwill.
So the way we have written the book, there is like lots of background information, different studies. We have read like hundreds of articles and studies and books. But also we have included to the book like tens of case examples. We have interviewed many influencers, but also many companies and organizations, so that it would be as concrete as possible for the reader. But also we have lots of lists, like how to do it, how to communicate about your responsibility, how to use different channels when you want to communicate about responsibility or social impact issues, how to collaborate with influencers, how to measure the collaboration, and for example, how to prepare for the crisis communication. So there are lots of like very practical tips and lists how to use social media for making the impact in the world.
And just to remind everybody, this is the Event Success Insights podcast with Inna-Pirjetta in the studio with me, with all your questions as well. So from wherever you are, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, make sure you write any comments or any questions. At the end, we will take questions from the audience. So if there is anything, any light bulb that comes into your mind or onto this topic, please feel free to ask your questions. So what do you think, Inna-Pirjetta, regarding the influence certain people have, and some of them act as gatekeepers? What are the disadvantages of that? Who could, because nowadays there is a shift for the past decades, right? How the web has been evolving and how the social media has changed our society. So anybody can pick up their phone and broadcast live and tell their opinion. Who is to say that whose opinion is right, whose opinion is to be followed, and so on? Because there could be powerful people with a lot of impact and influence, but maybe then their opinions are, misleading. So how can the audience make sense of who to listen, who to trust?
That's a very, very good question. And I think that's maybe like for our generation or for my generation is more difficult, because we have not used this kind of media that we are nowadays using every day. But I hope that for our younger generation, like in Finnish we say medianluku or vastuullisuuslukutaito.
The digital competencies of the younger people.
Yeah, like the digital competencies, but also like the
literacy.
Yeah, how to read media, how to understand what is true, what is not true, but also how to read the communication about responsibility, because that was also a big issue in social media 2 weeks ago when Sustainability Brand Index published their newest figures figures, and quite many companies also here in Finland published press releases with kind of misleading topics like that our company is the most responsible company in Finland, for example, or this product is the most responsible product. But the truth was not that it's the most responsible product, but people thinks that this product is most responsible. And there is a big difference. Are we talking about opinions, or are we talking about exact results based to the data? And that's very important, that the companies will understand the difference and the importance of the communications and the methods of communication when we are talking about responsible issues. Because there are lots of studies that shows that when the company is just like pushing the message that we are very responsible and we are this and we are that, it's not at all so powerful when the third person, like the influencer, for example, is telling something about that product or that company. And that's maybe the kind of like the magic touch of influencer marketing when we are talking about social issues. So I believe that's something that I really would like to see many companies, after reading our book, to understand that, okay, we are responsible, we are able to act responsibly, but how we should communicate so that it's like impactful what we actually do. Because the true impact comes, of course, through the acts, but also through the way how we communicate about our acts.
Right. Is it in your book? You've sent me the a version of the book. Thank you so much. And I've seen that there's a lot of cases from many brands and lots of companies. Do you focus on the book? Are there chapters where you talk about exclusively about influencer events in particular? Because I know through Pink Helsinki, you have been organizing a lot of events, also using Lyti as the event management software. So tell me a little bit about the power of influencer events as such, and getting influencers from, as you mentioned, anybody can be an influencer, whether it's a micro influencer, whether it's a keynote speaker, whether it's your own employees, right? That we talk about employer branding. So what is the power of influencer events as such?
I believe that when we're talking about influencer marketing or influencer collaboration, it's all about a human connection. And what could be a better way to create and strengthen that connection than an event? So at least for us and for our clients, we see that influencer events is the way to strengthen the connection with the influencers and actually get to know better those people behind those channels who then make the difference. And for us, I have been working with Lyti since I started almost 9 years ago already. And so I believe that our common path is pretty well discovered. And I think that what is the most important part of working with Lyti and a tool like that is that we can do the communication about the event before, during an event, very personal. And we have very good experiences how we can engage our participants through messaging, through sending personal links, through sending SMS before the event starts. And that's, and of course, very important part, also collecting the feedback. I believe that's something that is quite often underestimated, that how the feedback is collected and how we can get as many comments as possible from the participants. Because of course, that's the entire like result of the event, like what they actually thought. How was it?
Exactly, and I like the habit in your events as well. And I know that your company is organizing very much. It has this human touch in your event, so it's very clear from the very beginning. Because a tool is a tool. So Lyti is the leading event success platform in the Nordics and with a European and global presence. And basically, we have an event management software that helps, as you mentioned, throughout the process, from the event planning, before the event, during, during and after. You can communicate with your participants, collect data. We have the experience value score as a metric, and I know that you have been using it in your events. I have been taking the EVS surveys as well after attending one of your events. But it's important also that who are the people behind the tool, because then you put the right personalization, your right touch. So I think it's a big kudos and applaud to you and your team as well, because you write those messages, you're in contact, you're asking the right questions, you have, as you said, the participant experience at heart. And this is very event success management, what I'm preaching in my job at Lahti, like having the participant as a human at the center, not the event as such, or the company or the project as such. So what is your approach when you organize an event with your team? How do you have the participant at heart? What important issues you discuss with your team so that always the participant experience is high? What makes an event successful in the eyes and the minds and the hearts of a participant?
Thank you for the kind words, and
Sure.
I'm very happy to hear that, because of course that's something that we really try to do every time when we organize an event. Also,
And you succeed. I think everybody who's attended a Ping Helsinki event can see it. So it's not just to flatter you. So
yeah, that's wonderful to hear, and I think that we have had, like, since we started Ping Festival 2015, we organized the first one. First of all, I had the idea in my mind that I would like to create an event where we have the feeling of flow, the economical impact of Slush, and the quality of Nordic Business Forum. So that is somehow in my background. Of course, not always our events are that big or that impactful economically, but kind of like that mindset that, okay, which are the like forerunners, the stars of those event genders, and how we could take like the best practices from all those different events and put them together to our seminar or webinar or opening ceremony, whatever. And we have created like a four knots that will help us.
the 4 elements.
Yeah, the 4 elements.
So what are the 4 elements?
The 4 elements of a successful event are that we should offer something that the participant can learn something, so learning. Then, of course, to meet other people, networking, which has been maybe the biggest challenge during the webinar times, how to create actually networking. We have tried many different ways to do that. Then, of course, all the events has to be inspiring. We have to really offer an inspirational experience for everybody. And then what kind of experiences are they? Like all the senses somehow present. For example, in our webinar, when we start, there is always background music, and we always come with a cup of coffee like 10 minutes before the event starts, even though we are virtually, but we are trying to get the relaxed feeling for those people coming online, so that it's not like just a slide there waiting, like empty slide waiting there, but there are actually people around already before the event starts, even when it's a webinar.
Yes, so the 4 elements of making a successful event, as you said. So, and this is the approach that I like also in every event organizer, that they see events very holistically. And as you said, you took the best lessons and practices from other successful events. So you benchmark and say, what do we learn from there? How do we take it forward? So this is exactly event success management. It's about continuous learning, continuous improvement, step at a time, in order to create better and better events with better experience for the participants. So you did mention about the measuring of the impact and the event. So I would like to ask you, how do you measure in your events the success of your events? I know that you've been using the experience value score, the EVS, and then do you make some follow-up surveys as well? So what other metrics and insights you get from the event participants? How do you analyze, and what sense do you make out of this data to make your next events even more successful?
Normally, we use at least three different measuring methods during and after the event. Right when we end, we always have the poll, which is the kind of lowest and easiest way for the people being online, just saying that was it valuable and what kind of opinion they have for the event. Then, of
That's
course,
for the online events, right?
that's for the online events. And then, of course, this tool from Luti helps us. And then we also send always a longer feedback form where we can also add questions regarding like the future speakers or themes or topics, because that's something that we cannot add to this what was the name of the
EVS.
AVS?
EVS.
Yeah.
Experience value score, yes.
Yeah, EVS. Yeah. But anyway, so that's the three steps that we do. But of course, we can then measure also, like, for example, during the webinars, how active the people are, how many questions we get, how the chat is. Are people like communicating with each other or with the panelists and speakers? We quite often create also a LinkedIn event where we are trying to be active and network with people and connect with new people and participants, also connecting with each other. And also one very important thing.
So now, just to pause here, everybody who is listening through LinkedIn, let's connect with each other and send your comments and tell us who you are, where you're tuning in. Are you in the event industry? Why are you listening to this? What makes it interesting for you? Are you an influencer, or are you in the field in general? So if you'd like to share some personal information, let us connect with you. Let us find out about you. So yes, Inna, you were saying about what you do in your events too and how you measure. But you did focus mainly now, or you've just been talking about online events. How about then the physical, in-person, face-to-face events? Are those happening in the near future? I attended an event recently that you hosted at Piku Finlandia. What is your take on that? How can we measure then instantly during the event in a physical, in-person event?
Of course, like instantly we can see the feeling on the spot. In some events, we have even used this kind of feeling measuring tool. But I think that for me, like feeling, measure the feeling, it's quite intuitive. So you can see it.
You can sense the room, the energy,
exactly.
and the people's smiles and how they are.
But then, of course, since we are quite, most of the events are organized for or together with social media influencers, of course, then we see how it will spread in social media. And of course, that's for most of our clients, the most important metrics, how many posts and what kind of sentences and what kind of sense of feeling we can spread also in social media about the event. So I believe that's maybe the most important metrics for our clients today. Of course, then we collect the feedback also from the participants in real events, so to say. And for me, it's very interesting to see how the entire industry will now, after the pandemic, when we are coming kind of to the normal again, how we can combine the good things from the virtual events, what we have learned during the pandemic, and how we can come back to the like live events and being near to each other again, communicating and connecting with people in face-to-face events.
And if you want to connect with people, we have here Petri Holmen, who's joining by the Event Success Community in Facebook. So please connect with this very influential person. Just Google him and follow him on LinkedIn. He's willing to connect with the listeners of this podcast. So make sure you check him out. So feel free to drop us a line as well. If you have any questions also to Inna, Petri, feel free to shoot them in the chat. or anybody. So this is the Event Success Insights podcast here from the heart of Helsinki. We have Inna-Pirjetta Lahti today, very influencer person yourself, influential person you are, and you always manage to get for your events a lot of media publicity as well. How do you achieve this? Is it the newsworthiness of the events? Do you try to find an angle that the media will be really interesting? Basically, how do you event unique for your client so that all the influencers and also the traditional media are interested in and they write about it and they want to share what happened? So how to make a newsworthy event that draws attention?
I believe when we're talking about the traditional media, quite often when we're talking about the company events, for example, it's not about the event itself that the media is interested. Then, of course, it's different when we have a B2C event like Kevätmessut last weekend in Messukeskus or Kirjamessut book fair in the autumn. Then, of course, there is a big media interest also because it's it's interest of the audiences and the readers of the media to know what is in the program. But when we are talking about corporate events, B2B events, I think it's more about the content. It's more about this learning part that the media could be interested. And then it's very important to plan in advance what kind of speakers we have, who might have something to say that would be interesting also to the media. So I believe that's an approach that if the media coverage is one of the goals for you, then you should think it in advance, not only 2 days before the events, because it's also important that then when, for example, you would like to use one of your speakers for media interviews, you should agree that when you book the speaker. And also maybe to think the topic through that what kind of topics or themes could be interesting for media.
We have here a Facebook user. I cannot see your name here, unfortunately, but someone from Facebook is commenting, good discussion about the topic. I need to jump to the next meeting, but happy to watch the recording afterwards. All the best to Inna-Pirjetta. Thank you. And yes, this is a live show. We understand that people are busy, they're working, maybe you having your lunch now or you had it already and you had to move on. Thankfully, apart from this live show that you can tune in and listen every Wednesday at 12, there will always be recordings on Lyti's Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube Event Success Platform channel. So all the recordings will be there. And of course, make sure you go to the Event Success community on Facebook and here hashtag Event Success Lyti. Check out Event Success Community on Facebook. We're still here with Ina. And one more comment. Yes, so Petri was joining from the Event Success Community in Facebook. So feel free to connect with other interesting people in the Event Success Community where we have likely-minded people. And I'd like you to join the community, Ina.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so,
I'm not very active in Facebook nowadays. I
Nowadays.
really seldom log in, like you saw just a moment ago.
yeah.
It's not the application that I have open.
So what do you prefer nowadays?
I mostly use LinkedIn and Instagram.
Yes.
Those are the two platforms that I would say that I log in every day.
Do we have anybody from LinkedIn? LinkedIn is my favorite platform as well. Now I have another user saying, very nice discussion. Thank you very much. As I cannot see your name now here in the Restream chat. Later on in the native Facebook platform, I can see who has commented, so I can get back to you. Thank you for your comments. Here we are with Inna-Pirjetta Lahti. We're talking about the power of influence. Regarding influence, Inna-Pirjetta, what are some trends that you see that they are emerging now in the near or midterm or long-term future? Do you see anything that has been now under your radar that you think that it will be the next big thing? Give us your insights.
I think that one thing that, of course, has been discussed already earlier as well is that when choosing the influencers to work with, or when choosing a speaker to your event, one thing that have to be checked are the values, so that the values are the same for the company and the influencers we want to work with. Because without the common values, it's very difficult to create actually impactful and true collaboration. So no one wants the collaboration to be like sticked on the top of everything, but to integrate it to everything what you do. And the other thing is, of course, like the multi-channel thinking. And I believe that's also a great opportunity for everybody who are actually organizing events, because quite often it has been like 3 or even 4 different budgets. You have the event management budget, you have the communication budget, you have the marketing budget, and then you have the sales activation budget. But if you would put those budgets together and think clever how the event can serve all those needs, and how we can, through social media, spread the word even to the larger audiences, how we can very well plan the integration of the sales activations before, during, and after the event. So I believe that it would be very more powerful, even more powerful for those organizers of those events.
And you're right. I agree. Myself as a journalist, and I've been a blogger, and I've had my fair share of influencer campaigns and participations, and I've been trying to spread the word on a number of topics. And I've seen from the company side, or from any organization side, that social media is still in 2022 seen as sort of the last minute option. There's not so great plans and strategy, and also in terms of events. So that's what we are preaching in event success management. Every company should have an event portfolio, at the strategic level. Why we are organizing events? Do we need to even organize this or that event? If we need to, what are the reasons? How does it help with our strategic objectives? How our brand is to be seen? What messages we want to spread to the world? And then to really see this big picture holistically, this bird's eye view, not just to do events out of routine and sort of fragmented. And as you said, the budgets are fragmented, the events are dispersely, scarcely, and one here, one there. But what is the big picture holistically? I think that is perhaps a valuable point for everybody to, whether it's Pink Helsinki, Lyti, any company out there, non-profit, for-profits, just to have a clear big picture, why we do what we do, for what is the greater purpose here, and then to go out and define action plans and this and this and this.
Exactly. And always remember to think the human first. Like, who are the person that we are targeting our communications, our message, or our event, so that we can always think that what they actually need and how we can serve their needs. We in Ping Helsinki, we like to say that there is like this win-win-win-win saying that
win-win-win-win.
Yes,
So
4
right?
wins.
4 wins.
4 wins. And the first one is that it should be always done, the collaboration with the influencers conditions. So the influencer know best what kind of content, what kind of approach we should have about your company, your product, or your service for their audiences. Then, of course, behind that has to be the goals of the organization. Like you said, the strategic goal. No influencer marketing can be effective if there is not clear goals that will be also measured after the campaign. And then we should always remember who are the customers, who are the followers, and how we can serve them with the content that we are creating together with the influencers. Like now, we are serving your influencer, your audiences with this content. giving hopefully some insights and ideas for their future
Inspiration,
work.
insights,
Exactly.
exactly, spreading the knowledge, and it's all about sharing,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so
And then the fourth win,
Mm.
that's what we have added now, actually, after the COVID, and what our whole book is about. That the fourth win is that to think a little bit bigger, think how we can actually together or through our company strategy change the world, how we can do a positive impact to the society where our company is working, or
whether it's
impacting.
environmental, societal.
Exactly.
Right.
It can be anything. And I'm so happy to see that quite many companies and organizations have got this. So they really understand that it's not only that how we act, but also
How many products we sell, how much we earn, and so on.
Yes, exactly.
Great. We are here towards the end of this live podcast. We can go on and on. You're, I think, the personification of an event success manager. So you're just doing the right things, continuous learning, the impact, the human factor, human centric approach. So I think lots of lessons can be learned by your approach and Pink Helsinki's approach to organizing events and being in touch with people in every interaction. And check out, everybody, Inna-Pirjetta's book is about to be published next week. Muuta maailma somessa. It's the Finnish title. It's available only in Finnish, right? And I can share more comments below this podcast in the so if you want to watch the replay, the recording. And now next week, the Event Success Insights podcast is traveling to France. You actually came from France. And I will be attending there the Heaven Meetings Expo in the south of France, in Cannes. So I don't know exactly who my guest will be. We will have a show. I'm about to finalize the discussion today. However, Inna, I would like you to ask a broad enough question or any question that I can address with my guest in the live show that will be on April 20th, broadcasted to all of you from the south of France, from Heaven Meetings. So what question would you like to ask to? There will be a lot of influencing and influencer people there attending from a variety of industries. It could be an airline, perhaps, maybe my guest from the airline industry. But what would you like to ask? I think anybody can tackle the topic.
I think that very interesting and important question is that how we could kind of integrate the social impact to the events that we are organizing. And it can be anyone. It can be an event organizer, or it can be a company.
Because this is valid for, as you said, for every company in the organization. So what is the social impact? You heard then. I will make sure to transfer it to my guest next week. So what is the impact? And think about it, everybody who's tuning and listening to this live podcast, in your company, in your organization, what is the social impact you can make, whether it's small or big, right? So I mean, any company can have an impact. It's not that small is not to be considered.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody can make a difference, and we should admit that we can start, and we should start with baby steps. It's easier to run a marathon when you have been running for a long time already. A smaller evening jogging or even walking, that's already a better start. So I think that the direction, it's more important than how fast we go. And if we all go to the right direction, and we all have the passion to change the world to be a better place for us all, then we together, we can actually change the world to be a better place for us all.
Exactly. Success comes with little steps, incremental steps. So the direction, as you heard Inna-Pirjetta saying, the direction, we have to put our eyes to that goal and make sure we get there. Thank you, Inna-Pirjetta, for attending this session with me in the Event Insights podcast.
Thank you, Krisa.
And for everybody tuning in and listening, thank you for your time. I know it's the middle of the day, on the middle of the week before the Easter. If you celebrate it, you will be watching the recording. You can watch the recording later on Lyti's Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So make sure you tune in there afterwards. So before we go, I have some presents for my guests. So I have this. Sorry for the noise. So I have the Lyti Event Success Community. Here it is inside. So Ina, I can pass it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And I have some more information. You can check also everybody experience value score, what this North Star metric is, what Lyti is, lyti.com, and a nice notebook. You can jot down your ideas for your upcoming. And I have another present. I have to go off here. Wait a second.
Oh my God, thank you. So many presents.
And this hoodie or this blouse.
Thank you.
So this is this Lyti blouse. I have a challenge for the speakers, for everybody who attended the podcast. So now I've given you this presents, and the challenge is we would like you to wear this blouse, and you can take your coffee cup there in an event you're organizing, snap a picture and send it to me. So then we have who wore it best, and tell us a little bit about your event. So would you be ready to take this challenge?
Yeah, I have to admit that we have always these
Yeah.
Ohana dresses in our events, but
I know.
I'm sure it's possible to put this on and take
Yeah.
a picture.
Yeah, for a while. So you don't
Yes.
have to wear it throughout the event, but put it on. I know you have Ina and all her team at Pink Helsinki. They wear these very beautiful shirts with the floral shirts. So you cannot miss the ladies there. I don't know if Tuomo is wearing the same. Is
yes, he is. He's having the black one that I'm wearing in the
Okay.
picture
Yeah, so Tuomo is the only gentleman in Pink Helsinki.
until now.
Until now. So a lot of ladies and one gentleman, Tuomo. Is Tuomo a co-author with you in
Yes.
the book? So let's tell a little bit about Tuomo so that we can close to give him some credit as well.
Yeah, Tuomo is a great partner of crime, creating the book and developing Pink Helsinki as a growth director. So he is leading our sales, and he is also leading the thinking behind this social impact influencing. And actually, we have also created a community for social media influencers who are interested to create power and to change the world and to about social topics. And this we have actually next week, Wednesday, discussion for international influencers about this community. And if you are interested to join this community as a social media influencer, you can drop a message to me in LinkedIn, and I'm happy to invite you to our little event next week. It's not at the same time than your live podcast, so don't worry. I will not steal your guests.
No worries. So Inna-Pirjetta Lahti, find my guest on LinkedIn. That's her favorite other than Instagram platform, and connect with her. More information at pinkhelsinki.fi.
Yes.
Right. There's also English site, so you can turn the website in English as well. So make sure you check marketing from human to human, influencer marketing, events, social media responsibility, genuine feelings, social impact, all. Pink. Lyti loves Pink Helsinki, and
Pink Helsinki loves Lyti.
Oh, thank you so much, Ina, for this live session. We have comments from Greece. Hello to Greece, everybody tuning in. Valuable topic for an upcoming event. An audiovisual production company based in Greece as a Facebook user. You're also joining from the event success community. I'll come back to your comment, see who has written that later on. So thank you for your comments, and you'll find find the recording in all our platforms. Check lyti.com. I'm Krista Skodra, world's first ever event success manager, live with my lovely guest Inna-Pirjetta. And next week, live from the south of France, Heaven meetings in Cannes. So bye for now.